putting some eyes on it for logging chains, or rather he is. Okay, here's the challenge. This is the property, this is the neighbor's property, and there's a road that comes in here. That's where our driveway is going to be. We want to end up over about right here. These are both our pieces. There's an old skidder road that comes down and goes about like this. It comes down to about 3,000 feet and crosses their property. Obviously, I need to stay above that. And I want to stay above this. Each one of these is about 40 feet. I want to stay above it, so I want to end up at about right here. So I started cutting the road in. I had a transit, but somewhere in all the moves, I lost it. So I've been waiting to get a new one, and we started cutting the road in. And I knew if these are 40 feet that I needed to go up probably about 40 feet and then level off just to make sure I can clear this. So I started cutting the road in, and we're about right here now. And I've risen, but I can't tell exactly how much without a transit. So tomorrow we're going to go use the transit that I just ordered. It just got here tonight, and we're going to go determine what the difference is between this point right here, which is 3,040 feet, and where we're at. And then I also, once I figure out where we're at, about right here, somewhere right in here, I want to go find this pin again and then transit the elevation back so I know whether I can stay level, go up, go down a little bit, because as soon as I get past this, I want to start dropping, because I've got 80 feet to drop in a fairly short distance, and I want to make that as gradual as possible. Ideally, we'd be able to sight along this, but with all of the trees and the underbrush and the deadfall, it's actually very difficult just to walk through there. You're climbing up over deadfall. There's so many small trees, you're just putting your arms out and pushing your way through. All right, this morning we're going to get elevation and distance measurements. 2.68 feet from my backside. Now I'll use the stadia to get the distance. First one is 2.1. And the top one is, move your hand, there you go, 3.123. So my backside measurement is 2.6875. The difference between the stadia lines, once I figured out that it's in eighths and not tenths like most of them, is 1.4 times 100 is 140 feet. So the distance from where she was standing to the transit on the first measurement is 140 feet. Now, we'll spin that around and go the other direction. All right, got the second measurement at 0.7125 with a distance of 56 feet. So now we'll just leapfrog all the way up and then add and subtract everything together. All right, that was a lot of fun because the stick wasn't a surveyor stick, it was in inches. So it was a lot of computation to do, so I gave up on doing the distance, but basically we'll do the drive now, and we've raised 26 feet, 3.5 inches in elevation. Past that skid steer excavator. I don't know if you can see it, but the flag is right down there. I ended up right where I want to be. Honestly, it was probably more through luck and constant checking and finding it than using the transit. That was pretty tough in this. I mean, as you can see, quite dense. Alright, let's see how far we've got. It's been raining, so it's a little bit muddy. Got to take that Douglas fir out. I'd love to get it to fall down the road. Let's see how that goes.
Timber!
So here's a story of our lives. Got up here with a four-wheeler about 2 hours ago, sitting having lunch, looked over and saw it's got a flat. So I used the winch and the track hoe to lift it up, put blocks under it. And now we're gonna pack it out of here to where the car's at. Come on, boys. Today we're back in Texas. I flew down to get the pickup and the car is supposedly done. So I got a U-Haul trailer on the back, got a bunch of stuff out of storage, and I'm headed to go pick up the car. And welcome to Dallas. It'd be okay with me if I never had to drive through this again. Typical big city. You're either stopped or they're trying to run you off the road. Well, there it is, loaded up. I put plastic over I don't have the bug catchers in storage, so just in case I go through rain, I won't get water in it. So now I'm headed back to Idaho with this load in the back of the truck and the car. I've got about 1,800 miles, and I'll start my version of Vanishing Point without the speeding and the drugs. I'm hoping to get there in just a few days. I think we got something sneaking up on us. Difference in style now. This is Tex Line, right on the Texas-New Mexico border. Still day one. I didn't get started till about noon, and I'm about 525 miles in. Okay, I was wrong. It's about a mile back from the border. There's New Mexico. I think I just missed the sign. That was Colorado, about 625 miles. Don't know if that's going to show up, but there's Wyoming. Now I said it was going to stop. I did, tried to sleep, couldn't. Well, there's nothing else to do but drive, so here we are. All right, at it again. Just left Cheyenne. It's about 5 in the morning. I just pulled over and got about 4 hours. I've never been much for getting a lot of sleep, but I won't drive tired. I did add about 20 minutes to the trip because I got outside of Cheyenne and remembered Wyoming is no place to be without a full tank of gas. So I had to turn around and make sure I had enough gas because kind of a long distance between gas stations here. Wyoming-Montana border. It's about 9:30 in the morning. I've got about 9.5 hours left, but I pick up an hour at the Montana-Idaho border. as we cross over the top of Lookout Pass at an elevation of 4,563 feet. We pass over and we'll see the sign for Idaho here in just a moment. Almost home, only a few more miles. This is a pretty steep grade down, just like the one coming up the other side was pretty steep. All right, here we are. That is 1,826 miles. I left yesterday at about 20 afternoon. It's now right at 5 o'clock. So I'll just call that 20 minutes a wash because that would be in my favor. So let's see, 24 plus 5, 29, plus I picked up 2 hours crossing time zones, so 31 hours to do 1,826 miles. I'll subtract out what I slept and calculate my average speed. Up at this gas station, I will top off my tank so I can calculate my miles per gallon, which I do not expect to be anything good because I was very heavily loaded. There it is, arrived safely, unloaded.